Welcome to the Twilight Zone, Browns fans, where a rookie QB with limited reps, a cannon arm, massive upside, and fan support spilling out of the stadium is officially not on the practice squad, and yet somehow still buried behind a clipboard, trotted out for game-time situations like he's some secret weapon we're all supposed to forget about until the fourth quarter. This is the latest chapter in the utterly unhinged quarterback carousel that is the 2025 Cleveland Browns. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. And yes, it's got everything. Controversy, quarterback politics, frustrated fans, limited reps, promising flashes, and a growing question that nobody at the top seems ready to answer. What are we doing? Let's break it down. Jonathan the Quitter just dropped his latest update on the situation, and it's more the same tease without payoff that has Browns fans pulling their hair out. Shedeur Sanders, the quarterback everyone wants to see, the guy who's out here taking his 5 reps per practice and making every single one count, still sidelined, still rotational, still being treated like a novelty act instead of a serious franchise investment. And the kicker? They're not putting him on the practice squad. Why? Because they know. If they do, another team is going to scoop him up faster than Kevin Stefanski can say, "We're evaluating our options." Translation? The Browns want to have Shedeur Sanders. They just don't play him. And it's driving everyone, literally everyone, crazy. Analysts are baffled. Fans are seething. Commentators on ESPN Cleveland are openly asking if Stefanski is coaching scared. And let's not sugarcoat it. The vibes are terrible. Because here's the truth no one in that facility seems ready to admit out loud. You don't keep a guy off the practice squad unless you think he's valuable. And if he's valuable, why is he not getting real, meaningful game reps? Why are we watching the quarterback equivalent of a soft launch while Joe Flacco and Dylan Gabriel go through the motions? Sure, Flacco still has arm strength. Jonathan said it himself. In practice, Flacco's throws look sharp. He's got that veteran touch. The deep ball's still alive. And Gabriel? Clean. Steady. Coach's dream. But neither of them is Shedeur Sanders. Neither of them has the upside, the instinct, the ability to extend plays and light up a stadium with a single snap. Neither of them is generating buzz, selling jerseys, or single-handedly turning Browns practice footage into a trending topic. Only Shedeur's doing that. And still, the Browns are treating him like a science project. Locked away, monitored, protected. Protected from what exactly? Failure? The pressure? The spotlight? Please, this kid has lived under pressure. Since high school, his dad is literally Deion Sanders. He played in front of sold-out stadiums with national cameras glued to his every move. He's been questioned, picked apart, doubted, hyped, and mythologized since before he took his first collegiate snap. If you think a preseason blitz package is what's going to break Shedeur Sanders, you haven't been paying attention. And clearly, the fans have, because the emotional investment is getting out of control in the best way possible. They're not just rooting for Shedeur. They're rallying around him. Every update, every practice clip, every insider leak is met with a tidal wave of reaction. He's the one. Play him now. The franchise is wasting his potential. And yes, the conspiracy theories are starting to bubble. Why are his reps so limited? Why is he being treated like a luxury item instead of the future? Why is the team clearly terrified of letting him either shine or fail? Because here's the real answer no one wants to say out loud. They're scared he'll be better than they're ready to admit. If Shedeur goes out and balls out, even in garbage time, even in preseason, they can't hide anymore. They can't keep pretending like he's a next-year project. They'll have to answer to fans, to media, to their own players about why this kid wasn't starting from week 1. It's a control thing, a fear thing, and in typical Browns fashion, it's costing them momentum. Because while we're busy having this awkward dance with situational reps, other teams are identifying their guys and building around them. The Texans? Stroud is the guy. The Falcons? Already molding their identity around their rookie. The Browns? They've got a generational talent rotting on the sideline. But, oh, don't worry. They might start him next year. Maybe. Possibly. Assuming they don't use their first-round pick on Arch Manning, as the Quitter hinted. Wait. Pause. Arch Manning? You're telling me this franchise is already flirting with the idea of drafting another quarterback when they haven't even given their current rookie a single full start. Let that sink in. If you're Shedeur Sanders, how do you hear that and not feel like you're being treated like a placeholder? A hype vehicle? A temporary media bump on the way to the next shiny prospect? It's disrespectful, not just to Shedeur, but to every fan who's already bought in. We're not talking about a fifth-round flyer here. We're talking about a quarterback who has earned the chance to show what he's got, who has dazzled in limited reps, who has every tool you'd want in a modern NFL offense and the confidence to match it. But instead of leaning in, the Browns are hedging. Again, and the clock is ticking. Because the longer you sit on a player like Shedeur, the more toxic the situation becomes. The more obvious the disconnect between front office and coaching staff, the more fans check out, and the more pressure you pile onto whoever is starting at quarterback. Gabriel doesn't want that smoke. Flacco's just trying to finish his career in peace. But Shedeur, he wants it. He's ready for it. He's watching this whole circus unfold around him, knowing that if and when he finally gets a nod, it'll be under a microscope. Every throw will be judged, every drive dissected, and still he waits. Still he works. Still, he keeps his head down and lets his play do the talking. And yet, he's the one being managed like a liability. The Browns don't need more tape. They don't need more hypothetical projections. They need clarity. Clarity on their future. Clarity on who's leading this team. And clarity on why they're sitting on a potential franchise quarterback like he's an extra in someone else's movie. Because right now, it looks like the Browns have something special. And they're too afraid to find out just how special it might be. So here's the deal. Fans aren't stupid. They see what's happening. They see the limited reps, the avoidance of the practice squad, the situational nonsense, and they know exactly what it means. It means the Browns are hedging. And if they don't cut it out soon, they're going to find themselves answering to a fan base that's already halfway out the door emotionally. We're not asking for perfection. We're asking for vision. So start him. Or explain clearly, publicly, transparently what the plan is. And stick to it. But don't you dare waste this kid. Because you might not get another one like him for a long, long time. And when the Browns are inevitably chasing their tail in next year's draft war room trying to find the next big thing, they'll look back at Shedeur Sanders, sidelined, untapped, and very possibly playing for someone else, and wonder why they didn't just pull the trigger when they had the chance. So, Cleveland, what's the move? Let us know in the comments. Is Shedeur being wasted? Should the Browns start him now? What would you do if you were GM? And of course, hit subscribe, because this quarterback saga, it's just getting started. All right, you're still here. That means you're either a Browns fan running on pure adrenaline and heartbreak, or a football chaos connoisseur who just loves watching a team fumble a once-in-a-generation opportunity in real time. Either way, buckle up, because this Shedeur Sanders situation, it's no longer simmering. It's boiling. And what's truly insane, what keeps this whole saga feeling like some sports reality show where nobody read the script, is that Shedeur hasn't done anything wrong. He hasn't held out. He hasn't thrown tantrums. He hasn't called out coaches or subtweeted teammates. He's done everything right. Shown up, worked hard, stayed patient, and made the most of the tiny scraps of reps he's been given. And yet, the Browns keep treating him like a delicate piece of glass instead of the football weapon he actually is. Oh, and let's not forget the quarterback room. He's supposedly not ready to leapfrog. Joe Flacco, 38, Super Bowl ring, sure, but we all know what he is at this stage. Reliable? Kind of. Inspirational? Not exactly. The man's a walking clipboard with an arm that still works and knees that are praying they don't get tested too hard this year. Then there's Dylan Gabriel, more mobile, younger, solid, but still safe. Still development first. Still not the guy. And that brings us right back to Shedeur, sitting there like a fully loaded sports car idling in the garage, while everyone's too scared to touch the ignition. But wait, it gets better. The Browns are already looking at future QBs in next year's draft. Excuse me? So let me get this straight. You draft Shedeur. You don't put him on the practice squad because you're scared he'll get stolen. You don't give him meaningful playing time. You don't give him real evaluation snaps. And now you're eyeing Arch Manning in the next draft class? This team is drafting quarterbacks like a buy one, get one sale, and they have no idea what they actually want. Meanwhile, fans are watching the one guy on the roster who has both talent and star power right behind a depth chart that screams, "We're too scared to commit to anything." It's giving commitment issues. It's giving indecisiveness masked as caution. It's giving Browns. But this isn't just about logic. It's about perception, and perception in the NFL is everything. Right now, the perception around Shedeur is clear. He's got it. The charisma, the poise, the arm, the footwork, the command. Even in short reps, you can see it. There's a rhythm to the way he leads a huddle, the way he talks to receivers, the way he doesn't flinch when a linebacker is barking across the line of scrimmage. That's the stuff you can't teach. You either have it or you don't. And Shedeur has it. So what is Kevin Stefanski waiting for? Seriously, what's the move here? Is this some long con where Shedeur is being slow-cooked into the perfect franchise leader? Are they trying to avoid rushing him and ruining his confidence? Are they actually so deep in their own heads that they're afraid one bad outing will turn public support into a feeding frenzy? Too late. The feeding frenzy has already started. It's just not aimed at Shedeur. It's aimed squarely at Stefanski himself. Fans are growing more vocal by the day. Every single time Shedeur's name trends online, it's not because he's flubbing passes. It's because he's being ignored. And that silence is louder than anything he could do on the field. Even ESPN Cleveland is now openly debating Stefanski's job security. And when your own city's media is circling your QB room like vultures, you don't get to hide behind, "We're developing guys" anymore. You either make a decision, or the decision gets made for you. Because here's the uncomfortable truth no one wants to say out loud. If Shedeur Sanders starts on another team next year and becomes a star, Cleveland may never recover. You think Browns fans are jaded now? Imagine watching Shedeur light it up in Las Vegas or Carolina or Tampa Bay while we're still trotting out mid-tier placeholders and drafting another quarterback for the future. Imagine the think pieces. The clips, the montages of what could have been. It would go down as one of the most embarrassing self-sabotages in modern NFL history. And it would all be because this franchise couldn't pick a lane and stick with it. Because they wanted to have Shedeur, but didn't want to believe in Shedeur. Because they couldn't find the guts to say, "This is our guy. Let's build." Instead, we're watching a classic Browns implosion in slow motion. They have the talent. They have the hype. They have the moment, and they're choking because they're too afraid of making the wrong move. So they just keep making no move at all. And here's what no one wants to admit. That's worse. Benching a rookie too soon? That's a fixable mistake. You learn. You adjust. But never giving him the shot? Never seeing what he could be? That's cowardice. And if you think Shedeur's not aware of that, if you think he doesn't feel the tension in that quarterback room, the hesitation from the coaches, the frustration from the fans, you're out of your mind. This kid is watching. And the longer the team pretends he's just another rookie, the more likely he is to start thinking, maybe this isn't the place. And that should terrify Cleveland. Because Shedeur Sanders doesn't need the Browns. But right now, the Browns desperately need Shedeur Sanders. They need the juice, the spark, the cultural shift, the belief, the electricity he brings the moment he steps onto a field. Even just in practice footage, they need something to rally around, to sell, to matter. Because what they have now is a snooze fest wrapped in beige coaching logic. And fans are over it. So, Browns front office, do you want to ride the wave? Or do you want to drown in it? Because this isn't just a quarterback decision anymore. It's a defining moment. Start Shedeur, or send a clear message that you'd rather play it safe and lose quietly than take a chance on something potentially special. And let me tell you, there is nothing quiet about the noise that about come if you blow this. Oh, we're doing this. We're going all the way. Because at this point, If you've been following the Browns quarterback saga, the slow-motion, sideways tumbling train of overthinking, miscommunication, and flat-out fear, you know exactly what I'm about to say. The Cleveland Browns are holding a lit firecracker and pretending it's a paperweight. Let's stop pretending this is a developmental year. Let's stop calling Shedeur Sanders a situational quarterback, like he's some kind of gadget guy you only bring in when the defense needs a curveball. This isn't Taysom Hill, folks. This isn't a trick play experiment. This is a franchise-caliber quarterback sitting in plain sight, while everyone in the building acts like the locker room will explode if they play him. Well, joke's on them. Because the locker room, it already is exploding. Quietly, behind closed doors. In subtle looks, tight lip pressers, and off-the-record murmurs that are starting to leak like a cracked helmet on a rainy Thursday. You think the veterans don't see what's going on? You think the receivers aren't watching Shedeur light it up in practice, running tight throws on slants and fades like a video game highlight reel, while they're stuck jogging routes for Dillon Gabriel checkdowns? You think the defense isn't begging for a QB who can actually keep up with their energy? Please, the team feels the stagnation. You can see it in the body language, the lack of fire. The same 5-yard routes being run with the enthusiasm of a team on its 6th straight tax audit. This is what happens when a front office plays scared. This is what happens when you have something electric, and instead of flipping the switch, you bury it under a long-term strategy, press release, and pray people stop asking questions. Newsflash, we're not going to stop asking, because this is not a normal QB room. This isn't a we've got 3 solid options kind of scenario. This is you have a star in the making, and you're refusing to give him a proper audition while hinting at drafting yet another quarterback next year. It's football malpractice. And I don't say that lightly. You know what the Browns should be doing right now? They should be leaning in hard. They should be running a QB of the future media blitz. They should be organizing the offense around Shedeur's skill set. They should be cutting the dead weight and building chemistry with the guys who are actually going to be around when this team finally turns a corner. But instead, they're out here juggling quarterbacks like it's a 3-man circus act and hoping no one notices that the tent's on fire. Let's talk about those big, promising reps Shedeur got at practice. Yes, he made the most of them. Yes, coaches reportedly took notice. But let's not get it twisted. These aren't full series. These aren't live scrimmage reps with first-team protection. These are crumbs, glorified flashes, enough to keep fans on the hook, not enough to give him real momentum. And yet, even those crumbs have people talking, people inside the building, players, scouts, assistants, the kind of folks who can't say anything publicly, but are already whispering that Shedeur has it, that he reads the field like a vet, that he's not just talented, he's prepared. But instead of turning him loose, they're using him as a marketing tool. Oh, let's talk about that. Because while Shedeur isn't seeing the field, the Browns are sure as hell using his image. Jersey sales through the roof. Social media posts. Practice clips cut like mini movies. Training camp hype reels with slow MO passes and dramatic music. He's being treated like a star, just not by the coaching staff. And how does that make any sense? How are you going to sell someone like the face of your franchise and then keep him off the field like he's an understudy? It's insulting to Shedeur, to the fans, to the entire idea of team identity. Let's be clear. Cleveland isn't asking for a miracle. They're not asking for Shedeur to be Mahomes, Burrow, or Brady right out the gate. They're asking for a spark, for movement, for momentum, for hope. They're asking for a quarterback who makes them feel like something is finally building towards something real. And that is not something Dillon Gabriel is providing. Not through any fault of his own. He's doing what's asked. He's competent, efficient, the definition of serviceable. But if you're Cleveland, serviceable doesn't cut it anymore. Serviceable doesn't make your fans show up on freezing November nights. Serviceable doesn't get national attention. Serviceable doesn't change your narrative from perennial rebuild to, holy hell, the Browns might actually be coming. Shedeur does, and that's the infuriating part. Everyone knows this. The fans, the players, the league, even the coaches, deep down know it too. That's why they won't risk putting him on the practice squad. That's why they're giving him these high-profile media crumbs. That's why they keep saying things like, we're evaluating, when what they really mean is, we're scared of what happens if we're wrong. Because that's what this is really about. Fear. Fear of starting him too early. Fear of backlash if he fails. Fear of the domino effect if the locker room shifts its loyalty overnight. But here's the thing about fear. It doesn't stop time. And every week they wait, every week they keep Shedeur holstered like a backup plan for a disaster that's already happening. They're wasting his timeline. The NFL isn't a slow burn league anymore. It's now. It's fast. It's about taking your shot while you have it, not hoping the window opens wider next year. Look around the league. Rookies are stepping in and delivering. C.J. Stroud didn't wait. Anthony Richardson was thrown into the fire. Justin Herbert thrust into a starting role and never looked back. You don't protect talent by hiding it. You protect talent by giving it purpose, by giving it structure, by giving it reps, by giving it the damn keys to the offense and letting it grow through experience, not red zone packages in garbage time. And if the Browns can't see that, if they keep hedging, posturing, delaying, they don't deserve him. So what now? Well, that's up to them. But time is running out. The fan base is getting louder. The media is circling. The other teams in the league are taking notes. And yes, they're waiting. Because if Cleveland fumbles this, you know someone else is going to pick it up and run. So, Cleveland, clock's ticking. Are you going to hand Shedeur the ball? Or are you going to hand him to someone else?